250 years ago this past Monday saw the publication of Adam Smith's profoundly impactful book, The Wealth of Nations. Too bad its brilliant and totally right insights on tariffs and trade are lost on many national leaders today. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. One of the most important and influential books ever written was published on March 9, 1776. Formerly entitled An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith's opus laid out the timeless principles of prosperity: low taxes, free trade, stable money anchored by gold, and sensible laws and regulations. As he put it, quote, "Little else is required to carry a state to the highest level of opulence from the lowest barbarism, but peace, easy taxes, and a tolerable level of justice," end quote. He hammered home the point that prosperity comes from the freedom of people to buy and sell products and services without heavy-handed government involvement. With economic freedom comes entrepreneurial creativity that leads to waves of innovation and the constant improvements that in turn lead to ever higher levels in living standards. In Smith's time, British government economic intrusiveness, while hardly ideal, was far less onerous than almost all of Europe. It's no coincidence that the Industrial Revolution started in the Sceptred Isle. Smith demolished the doctrine of mercantilism that prevailed in so many nations at the time. Mercantilism saw economics as a form of warfare with winners and losers. It emphasized policies of restricting imports and maximizing exports. It saw trade as a zero-sum game. It applauded governments granting monopolies, regulating overseas trade, licensing certain occupations, imposing taxes, and even setting wages to pursue economic warfare against other countries. Smith showed how self-defeating these nostrums were. Trade surpluses or deficits alone tell you nothing about the health of an economy. The truth is, the more trade, whether domestic or foreign, the more prosperity. Smith made the point that in a transaction, each party gets something. The buyer gets a product or service, and the seller gets cash, which he or she can then use to buy something he or she wants or needs. To hear some critics of trade today, one would think that countries were robbing the U.S. like a thief doing a bank heist. Now, Smith was enough of a realist to realize there'd be circumstances when tariffs or other commercial restrictions might be necessary, but those should be rare and quickly removed when the emergency recedes. By putting on paper the principles of liberty and free market economics, Smith inspired Britain, the U.S., and eventually other countries to more purposely pursue prosperity-creating policies. As these Smithsonian principles became more widespread, the 1800s saw more wealth creation and higher living standards than just about all the previous centuries put together, despite an enormous increase in population. Since the Great Depression of the 1930s, however, governments have tended to move away from Smith's formula of low taxes, sound money, and limited government. Free trade today is under attack. We can only hope today's policymakers come to grasp the truth expounded by Smith 2.5 centuries ago, including that free trade rather than mercantilism are the best and surest way to prosperity. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.